is up, guys? It's Shinobi here, and I'm joined by my friend Green Chili, John, Draco, the Charioteer, and Sky King 4000.
Hello, it is the Mighty Green Chili here. It is an honor to be in this podcast.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're
What's up, everybody?
we're just streaming because this has to stop.
Yep. Some guy forgot his name. It's like claiming that we're not allowed to screen share the fucking thing. I think he's even on the Gal's End Tavern. It's funny.
That's not even why we're having this stream. It's a lot more than that. Also, guys, I am.
Yep.
Wait, actually, let me send you the link to the stream so that way you guys can watch it.
All right.
Actually, hold on, I think that should be it, but if not, just let me know. Either way, so yeah, we need to talk about something. So many people might misinterpret everything that we say, but before you do, just open your ears and listen. So we're gonna start off by saying this needs to stop. The WoW community needs to stop.
Yeah, especially for those who are like, I remember like the one thing that was annoying that I remember when I was like playing Legion, even like to some extent Battle for Azeroth. There'll always be some people that think that you should be forced to play multiple specs and each spec should not be unique. No, that's
And
just
also,
wild.
there are people that think DPS is the only thing that is required in order to aid. And I tell you right now, that DPS does no DPS at all.
Yeah, especially when they're talking shit up, to healers for no reason.
Exactly.
Which is really dumb.
Especially when they do everything that they can.
Yeah, I think the worst offender has to be like for those who like in battlegrounds, for some reason in the WoW community thinks that even like YouTubers claim that you have to min max, you have to keep on your abilities in battlegrounds when you never have to.
No,
It's just
battlegrounds.
We're looking at you, Asmongold.
Yeah, even Hero Merit decks and Noble 87 and some other people that often think you have to, do this way of gameplay when it's never true.
Exactly.
And I've been playing WoW for 18 years. I am in warfare CP. If anybody doesn't know what that is, that's a muscle disorder.
Yeah.
That doesn't allow me to use anything but my left hand. So I have conquered my CP by using modifier macros and having a 13 button mouse. So yeah, I wish.
You mean cerebral palsy, not that kind of CP.
Yeah, because when I misheard, I'm like, well, what do you mean by CP? It's like, oh, that. Oh, okay. Thankfully, it's not that direction, because that would have been awful.
That won't be tolerated.
Yeah. I don't know what the other CP is, but I'm going to show mine off and just to get.
Yeah, you're better off not knowing, dude. Your poor innocent child.
But
I'm currently only streaming the screen at the moment, like my screen, so I can't.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I kind of want to protect your. I want to protect your privacy, so I won't really stream the Discord.
I really don't care.
I don't really care either.
I've lost faith in Blizzard.
Yeah, I mean, I get that Blizzard Yeah, I get that Blizzard has their own fuck ups, but the community acts like their most innocent thing ever. It's just hilarious because if I learn anything, shitty people often eat the most shitty things, or some poetic thing that monk says they're high on crack cocaine.
And who stand on
So-
toilet, high on pot.
Right. Like I'll never forget how like Asmongold often preached about how he wants to get rid of Logan for raid because apparently it made the WoW game itself terrible. It's not teaching people how to play the game properly. But then in WoW Classic, he gets his Warlock carried, gets free epic gear before hitting level 60, and then he's confused how to PvP or know how to play his class at all. And yet, I remember on his live stream when someone told him that no one's min-maxing retail WoW. That's where he was like claiming how that's how the game is dead, it's dying. And yet he doesn't want to use Curse of Recklessness in a rotation that was recommended by a guildie to do more damage. He wants to use Curse of Doom of all things.
What I don't understand is this. Now I'm going to talk about Wizarding. I don't mind. I would sign a waiver of whatever the waiver is called. Just give me some recognition and give other handicap players the option to have a symbol above their head to say, hey, I'm handicapped. I'm doing the best that I can. And maybe I'm able to DPS you and DPSing you. So be quiet and recognize.
I don't think Blizzard's against like people with autism or anything in the spectrum. I just think it's just the community itself is like Blizzard can really go as far as trying to like regulate, but as far as I can tell with the WoW community, they hate Blizzard regulating things. But then when Blizzard's not regulating, they'll start complaining about how the community is toxic. I'm like, that's what happens when you let freedom
What
get
do you
after a while.
What do you expect the community to correct me if I'm wrong, guys? I'm gonna go off the bridge here.
Like I remember this one YouTuber was complaining about how Blizzard's just regulating certain words and it's bad. So sorry.
Has anybody played FF14?
Have we play what?
FF14, Final Fantasy, the online game.
Oh, Final Fantasy 14 online.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I tried it, and I don't really see why people see it as a WoW killer.
Their terms of use basically says, if you are caught discriminating against anyone, be it religion, be it disability, be it what have you, your account is automatically banned.
There's a lot of people saying it's rude to suck at WoW, and I'm like, well, who the hell are you to judge?
It's rude to suck at WoW. I have an answer for that. Back doing BC and Classic, the game was a lot less toxic, and that's because people would walk up to you, give you free pets, give you a lot of free stuff, and it's rude to judge people based on their disabilities. And what I have found is I found many people on, I don't know if I should say this, I found many people on other games that are a lot more understanding.
And we understand because we're not jerks.
Yeah, this is why I wish Blizzard would do an expose on my type of players.
Well, I do agree with you, but at the same time, there's only so much that can be done, especially when you're owned by Activision and when you have.
I understand that.
Yeah, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and if it's not even like Activision, you got the player base trying to like, they don't want people to be banned for being toxic, but at the same time, they'll complain about players being toxic, when it's hit to them, which is
You have
ridiculous.
to choose what you want, my dude. You can't have one hand washing the other.
Yeah, I remember I seen like some YouTubers. Yeah.
If you don't want people being toxic, then don't be toxic yourself. If you don't want to be banned for toxicity, then don't 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 be such a bad person that the GMs find out and ban your butt for 2 3 days. And notice, this is why I'm joining other games because I wanted to press start. And
Yeah,
Blizzard, I hope you with 21 new classes and all that.
yeah. I think those classes were just different concepts of like different classes of for NPCs in Warcraft. Some
Yeah,
are from Diablo with Warcraft Flair.
but
Demon Hunter.
first, but first start equals people not telling me what the
Mhm.
heck I'm doing wrong.
Yeah, we have Demon Hunters in retail WoW. It's just they don't have a dirt spec, and I think what's interesting in Ascension, they're trying to mix the idea of a warlock into Demon Hunter, where they can be able to throw glaives and shoot barrage of
Yes,
hellfire, which I think is
and
pretty interesting.
and the and
Yeah, personally, in my opinion, like if we were to have another class, like it's like a caster, it would be cool to have like a necromancer, like the class into it. But at least with my player, I would have like a healing spec and a tank spec. Want to know why?
my dude, you,
Hmm?
I'm gonna tell you this. Back when WoW was originally thought of, guess what class they were thinking of adding?
Necromancer and
Necromancer.
and
That
the rune and so I forgot what the other one's called. The rune something. I forgot what it's called.
yeah. So yeah, they
Yeah,
were
because they because
adding.
they because they combined the rune master and the necromancer and some other class idea they had at the time, and that's where we got the Death Knight ever since.
Yeah, and there's way too many melee and regular WoW. There's 13.
Hmm.
There's 13 on private, 13 range, and 8 melee. Uh,
Hmm.
there's 13 classes that I can play range, and only 8 purely melee.
Yeah, because for me, when I think of like a necromancer being a tank, when I say mention tank, some people assume it's like, oh, it's just like Blood Death Knight. I'm like, no, no, no. Hear me out. This is more like a new type of tank that we don't see before in retail WoW. I'm sure some games might have come up with it, but it's like really rare. It's like imagine having a summoning abomination or like a skeleton, like a Frykle skeleton, and have that as a tank where you're the one who support healing and increasing the threat and damage of your pet that deals the tanking blows. Does the
Sort of
AoE and
like
whatever.
Unholy and blood mixed together.
Yes, exactly.
It's kind of similar to Rexar with his bear, where his bear does the taunting
Misha.
and shit. So, Misha, yeah,
I see what you're
something
talking
like that. And I was thinking for like trying to debate how would a healing spec work, like besides splashing potions and debuffing enemies. But then when I saw the director add the dirt spec and create the first ever support based spec, I thought it'd be cool for Necromancer for like a dirt spec that theirs would be like debuffing their enemies, healing their allies, but they also mainly focus on like brewing up potions and throwing barrels of like plague and alchemy stuff. Would be
And
interesting.
they could make a healing spec for the necromancer. Just change
They just
around it.
they just gotta rely on like
Just
drains and stuff like that. Something like a
just
warlock, but
change
a
around death
supporter.
where your dots heal your body.
Yeah.
I completely understand that.
Or heck, take the idea of like the bloodworms from Blood Death Knight, but with like mosquitoes that you summon, and when the damage over time is over, and it will just splash and it will heal your allies as opposed to just only yourself.
I
Now that'd be pretty funny and cool.
agree.
Yes, it would be cool, and that'd be like a win.
And if it splashed on enemies, they would get a debuff where they get reduced healing received because it's not meant for them and it's meant to be negative. While for allies, they get like a opposite effect where it heals them or something like that.
Yes, like a trust for witch. Yes, that would be cool.
And then
And
the second one could be either a pet based necromancer where we're focused on like shadow damage, just using waste bolt, and then having an option to go using a minion as their main pet, or they could just be a full blown range caster with a pet they can sacrifice to gain more energy to deal more damage with increased haste and critical hit or something.
but that's already animation, isn't it? On the base.
Mm.
I mean, they could recycle some until they make some.
Yes, yeah, because I know a necromancer, at least in retail WoW, not the one that's like based on ascension, but may do what they got. Usually, there's a combination of warlock and shadow priest spells like mind flay, shadow word pain, mind blast,
Yeah,
demon
and
armor.
I wish they would come out with the blood mage already, because the blood mage is like that way people would not have to worry
Dude, I
about it.
remember, before
Dark
they
mage.
yeah, before they announced the conquest of Azeroth, I remember suggesting an epic enchant that can convert your shadow bolt into a blood bolt, and someone's like, "Oh, that's stupid. Why would we ever want that? We should focus on the existing enchants." I'm like,
Want the stupidest things and then complain when they don't get what they want.
"Yeah, they want the game to be balanced first before adding more." Which, mind you, this was before they decided to add Warforged enchants. Let that
Yes,
sink
and
in.
I personally like Ascension because it's all created. You
Yeah,
can
because
do whatever the heck you want.
Just like Epsilon.
Yeah, because I think Ascension is a pretty fun game. It's just that its community kind of sucks. Like I brought my brother
Like
into
Reforged.
you guys my
No, no, I would say about 5% of the community sucks. Not what I've seen.
mm,
5% of the community
dude.
sucks.
My brother saw me play the game. He wants to play it, and he went into someone in chat saying he wants to eat out their grandma's butt region, and I'm just like, bruh.
Dude, and I'm
What?
still streaming.
I know. I'm just trying to keep it PG-13 if I can.
Dude, you don't want to say that.
Sorry. Well, it was just like inappropriate stuff he's seen on the Ascension chat, and that's where I was convinced by my dad just not get him to play the game no more until he gets older enough and matured, because it was just wild.
But yeah, I think the Ascension community is a lot more progressive than WoW.
I wouldn't
And
say progressive. I would say it's no different than 4chan in terms of either it's helpful or extremely degenerate.
yes, which I've encountered
Nice.
Yeah, because I
I
think
think
because I played retail WoW more recently, and it's a lot more progressive. It's less toxic than Ascension, that's for sure. Which is quite shocking, honestly.
yes, quite sure.
Especially when you have like the streamers and YouTubers often preach about the meta or bring about how it's all about the class, not the specs. Which I find that very annoying because we lost the spell Shadow Mend because apparently it's because there was too many spells were bloated, but also at the same time you have people in the class community that missed Flash Heal on their Shadow Priest, which I find it silly because why make us lose more, shadow spells? Like, come on.
Yeah, and
I mean,
honestly,
if you want more holy spells, ask Blizzard to add the option to like, hey, what if I want to use Shadow Mend, or if I don't want to use Shadow Mend, I can instead get improve Flash Heal, like that. But no, instead we got this, and it's just sad.
and this is what I would suggest for Blizzard. Now, one of the reasons why I like this server is there is no mythic zeros where you have to go to the actual dungeon with the group. There's actually a dungeon finder for
Mhm.
mythic zeros.
They
Obviously,
they have that in retail.
yeah, I
Yeah,
am so,
retail WoW has Dungeon Finder too. If you talk about Mythic
but
Plus dungeons,
not for mythic zeros. I'm talking for mythic
um,
zeros.
I think yeah, they do have Mythic Plus, Mythic Zero, but for Mythic Plus, you still had to go out in the world anyways.
I understand that, but at least I could
Yeah,
get my gear from mythic plus through spamming the dungeon finder.
that's fair enough. Yeah, I never really done a mythic dungeon because I just don't have enough PvE power to do it. Because battlegrounds are just more spammable than Dungeon Finder, and and that doesn't mean the battlegrounds are good per se. Because I don't know how many times I get stun lock, I get like feared, get kited, get freaking one one or two shotted by crazy builds there on the battlegrounds are just crazy.
which which is why I don't play the Battlegrounds because if I get too started, because
I remember I tried doing it without any battlegrounds, and I have been stuck there for like either 30 minutes to like 2 hours of just nothing.
but
Either I quest or I just do battlegrounds for quicker leveling.
may I say something about I mean Ascension devs?
Hmm.
From what I have seen, the Ascension devs actually answer pretty quickly, and they actually ask the community what would you like to see in Koha, and that's what I love.
Well, I mean, they are a smaller server, so of course they
I
would.
know.
Yeah, it's a lot easier to get feedback directly by just asking because Blizzard has multiple games managed. Of course, they don't manage Call of Duty, obviously, but they have Hearthstone, they got Diablo series, you got the StarCraft series, and even though Here's a Storm is like a skeleton crew, they still have management and people working there. They got Hearthstone, they
Let
got like
me ask you guys something.
yes,
Isn't their biggest moneymaker WoW in the
And
store?
Overwatch.
Okay.
Overwatch, World of Warcraft is like their main bread and butter for profits. That's for sure.
Yeah, because Overwatch is one of the only official Blizzard games that's officially dubbed in Japanese.
Then here's what I don't understand. Why don't they ask the players what they want?
Oh,
They
If
dude,
have
they
they
double
try.
standards.
Well, not just that, but they do get feedback. It's just that from what I read is that it's very toxic there to ask for feedback because people would just accuse them of things and just
yes,
they would start trolling threads. I remember in the past like when they would Brain Crusade before Brain Crusade was out. You get people in the forums just trolling and egging on the one of the GMs and causing tirade. It was crazy.
and honestly, I don't care if there's trolls wanting to egg me on. I can defend myself. It just it's a game, people, not a freaking job. Get over it.
Yeah. I remember like one dev was complaining about how he's like getting death threats through email, and people on Twitter were fucking bullying him and trying to get him canceled off of Twitter. It was crazy, and they even went after the voice actress of Sylvanas because of the poor writing of Shadowlands, which is quite weird because she's not a writer; she's just a voice actress. Like, what the heck?
Quite pathetic, if you ask me.
Yeah, it's like, what did she do? Oh, cause she's the worst character.
In
Ask the
truth,
writers,
in
not
truth,
the person
that's
who just gives the voice.
in truth that's Arthas and Garithos. Like a lot of people are
It's like,
just Arthas meat riders.
dude, they are. Dude, I met people on the VC on Ascension server that thinks that Arthas is the most perfect character and how we, he needs more love. It's just like,
Meanwhile,
I
Illidan
mean, his
and Taransu are like, "Hello, we're right here."
dude, I'm not kidding. In WoW Classic, when people bring up Chuck Norris jokes, I brought up Sourfing jokes. Because you would think nostalgia, right? And people were like, "Stop bringing up Battle for Azeroth." I'm like, you do know Sourfing is in vanilla WoW, right? They're like, "No, he's not. He's a Battle for Azeroth character. Anything
And
after Kata is garbage."
you
I'm
understand
like,
that
Sourfing is in Orgrimmar right now.
you understand that for all you people that don't like Battle for Azeroth, war mode entered that Battle for Azeroth. So thank you for your 20% XP. Call it a day.
Yeah, the reason why war mode was added because people don't want to join PvP servers that much because of the ganking nonstop. So Blizzard's solution was to give you more extra XP to compensate the amount of times you get killed by a max level player who got
Exactly.
bored. Dude, not that long ago, like yesterday, I just entered Stormwind and some orc rogue who was like level 80 just fucking one shot on my ult for no reason.
Yeah.
He was just being a bully and nobody wants to deal with him. It was stupid.
People just
And he's up his ass when he's playing an upright orc. Again, maybe it's my bias, but still.
that is very highly biased.
Yep. So, anyways, when it comes to what else? Oh yeah, like I still find it funny, but people in that, at least at the time when I was like on WoW Classic back in 2018, many people think that Ferox Surfing is only in Battle for Azeroth, even though he's been around for years, and hell, he's the reason why he was even, given lore. We got his brother Bruxigar, who freaking wounded Sargeras, and his son, who is like the boss in, the Ice Crown Citadel, which was tragic. Let's be honest, the Ravka incident.
Very, very tragic. Like the dwarves wanted to let him pass, but they couldn't.
Yeah, and I think it's just the more. I mean, I remember he was just considered like just a random joke character, but then after so many memes of him, like of just him cleaving mountains, that's where he became a big lore character, and they even add him as like a neutral representation of both factions because, what you know, it priest can mind control him and have cleave his own kind. So both got to see his true power, and both fear and respect Serafing for years. And nobody in the WoW community, even Asmongold, knew about his legendary status of just one-shotting people. So when I saw that highlight of Asmongold raiding Orgrimmar. Guess that's the most dumbest thing you do as a Lions player.
What?
You raid the entrance in Classic. Not the
I
entrance in the back
agree.
door. Not the back door entrance, the front entrance. And he's like, guys, attack Sourfang. And half his party fucking died.
I agree.
That was fucking
Just
hilarious.
like in Stormwind, the dumbest thing you can do is attack the front door. Go in the back through a shower. You don't go through the front.
And then what's funny is that if you talk about Catalysm, then yeah, there's a Shara entrance, but I was talking about Vanilla WoW, which a Shara entrance didn't exist yet. There was a back door from near Ashenvale and Barrens. Now that one you're supposed to go to because if you get too close to Ferox Saurfang, his ability Saurfang Rage will one-shot you, and people don't know that. Especially Asmongold, who supposedly is a Vanilla WoW veteran, didn't even know why he got his meme status as the Warcraft equivalent to Chuck Norris.
Oh God, I'll be right back.
All right. So I find that pretty funny. So I'll never forget in 2018 where this person tries so hard to correct me about how I shouldn't bring up a character from supposedly from Battle for Azeroth, even though he is literally part of Vanilla WoW. Like, how you not know? You're a huge sucker for Vanilla WoW and hate retail WoW, but yet you never knew Sourfang exists and why he's so legendary. That is just so silly.
People are just idiots.
And I think ever since Asmongold, rated Orgrimmar and failed, that's where people realize oh shit, so he is our version of Chuck Norris. I'm like, that's what I've been telling people, and people are saying I'm fucking trolling. That he only exists in Battle for Azeroth. He never exists before that. I'm like, no, 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 no. Have you ever played Ravage King? He was there talking shit to Garrosh, and we even see him disguised and humbled a necromancer you're supposed to kill in this one quest line in Boring Tundra, and get to witness his son killed in Wrathgate, and then later you killed him again, as opposed to Lich King, killing, first time, and witness, mourning his son and carrying him as he's gonna take him to the burials in the Grand.
Anyway, we've been at this for almost 30 minutes, so I think we should probably stop the stream for now.
All right. Hope you guys enjoy the stream and have a wonderful day. Peace.
And before we leave, just we do not condone harassing anyone like in that we mentioned in this video. But what we do condone is people doing the right thing. So just don't be an asshole, and we're good.
Drink plenty of water in the hot days too. Trust me. If you want to game longer hours, drink lots of water so you don't have to go to the bathroom often, let alone have an explosive impact onto your body.
That'll be all. Keep in touch